chat, it should show everything on there. Well, here we are. Okay, I need to get off this music off. Bam. All right, here we are. So, what are we doing today? We are programming. Ta-da! There's the announcement. Okay, so I started working on the networking code for this game, and I've made some progress, just enough to where I could start messing with things. So I'm going to start messing with things. You're going to be able to be the server or the client or both. And so, you know, you launch this thing. I mean, it's no menus yet, really. Just I have modules I could switch between. And so if I press F10, I'm the server. And then if I press F11, or sorry, F9, I'm the client. And this is just so I don't have to make UIs right now because I just don't feel like it yet. I will get there. And so this thing just sends a packet and that's it. So what I want to do is I want to have it kind of print here what the server thinks the client list is. I think that would be a good to do to get done today. So we'll start with that. Call it networking show client list. And then it doesn't really need to be that detailed, right? So we'll do show client list. The idea is I just want to get it to show one client, and if another it says 2 and 3 and 4. And then once I have a nice little list here, I'll make it to where I could do a little bit more. Like there's 2 guys on the screen, one for you, your player, and then the other people in the game. And as I build it out, I'll have teams and I'll sync everything. And I'm going to go the naive route of being a noob and just trying to get this thing to work. So that's my plan, and I hope you all enjoy. So I already can tell if I'm the server. I can already tell I'm the client. So I want to now do the heartbeat. And I also want to I want the engine to send a heartbeat to the server that you're connected to every 20 seconds. Actually, I'll do every let's see. If I haven't sent a packet recently, I want to send a heartbeat packet. Every time I send a packet, I want to update the heartbeat. So as part of my tracking of the clients for the server, I'm going to have a thing that tracks their heartbeat. So let's go in here to the engine. So I'm using my own library here, ENET. So what I'll do with this is I guess I should just make a module. I'm gonna bump this up into the header here. There we go. Okay, so I need to make my own struct in the header that contains everything I would need, you know, the peer, the name, the ID, things like that. And then I need to be able to send packets. So I got to set up the packet buffer. So we'll just use this as a to-do. Okay, and then on every packet sent to server, we update the heartbeat as heartbeat. And then Let's see. So that'll tell me they're still connected. If they stop moving for a bit, it'll tell me that they're still connected. And then I can send to them what I think the game state's delta is. And then every like minute, I could just kind of do a blast of correcting things. Or I could figure out a strategy that's lightweight, involves maybe, like say I have, 200 entities. I could split it up over a couple packets of what I want to update. 5, right? Do that. So update 40 things at once. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to just look at the size of the thing. I should probably print out the size of the packet. I know if I'm making it or not. So I'll go with that. And to like zoom in on the code. I know some people out there are obsessed about reading code while people program, so I will help you with that. And I think this is big enough. It might be too big for me though. We'll do something like this. Okay, I'm gonna start with the struct. So net client data. Bam. Okay, and in here I want the client ID, which is easy. And then I want the time. I think it's time underscores. I just did this morning. I this and it was really easy too. So I need to do time age, and then I think it was here, I'll just copy some of this stuff here. Yes, so I need time info. Actually, I don't need time info because I don't care about printing it out fancy. I just need the time. So time underscore T, I can get that. Really? Does this even work? Oh, it's time T. Yep. Okay, so this is perfect. So we'll do last heartbeat. And then as long as that's less than a certain number, then we're good. And this is going to turn out to be something I can easily compare on. It's basically a long. It's a type long, so it's really easy. I'll just do a compare statement of it plus, not it plus, but oh, you know what? Yeah, this is easy. I can get the current time. Same way I'm getting this one. What do I know? I think that's the easiest to start. Is just get the client data stored somewhere in the engine for the server. And now everything just starts falling apart. What did I do to break it? Rectangle, what's going on? This wasn't a problem like 5 seconds ago. Wonder if it has anything to do with this. No, it has everything to do with this. Okay. I figured that would happen. Some of these libraries are like really consequential. That's okay though. I don't need to fix it right now. Okay, so we'll get this set up. So I have some network code here. I think I'll just do it in NetWin here. And I'll just make a clients. And I'll do what I did before. I'll if you're start server, yeah. So if you're starting how many clients I want, which in this case, I'll just do like 10 until it matters, and then it'll crash, right? Okay, so I've got 10 clients. Now I'm going to use, let me just generate some methods real quick. This is a code generator I wrote. Just makes some simple functions for me, so I don't have to rewrite them every 2 seconds. Okay, so we got this struct here. That's gonna go in here, right here. Bam. Then we got the declarations for the arrays. What are we doing? What is it I needed again? Standard int. Nope. I've done this before. I should know where this stuff is. Some of this like sticks in the memory and then some of it just doesn't. Standard IO, var args, Durka. There's the Picoli. Hello. I feel like I don't know where int 32 is. Why does it have a T at the end? Did I do that? No. 1 second. I like the chat thing that shows up on the right screen. I'm using a tool called Restream, and that allows me to get multiple platforms. Okay, I'm just going to do stdint. Okay, great. And then this here is that, which is actually supposed to be that again. So we'll do. Yeah, that's a new thing I got set up real quick. It's really nice. So it lets me stream across GG Arena. Across multiple platforms at once, and then it shows like it's supposed to show the chat across, which I don't know if it's doing. I could actually check on YouTube and see, but it should show your messages on YouTube, which is pretty nice. Yeah, it shows yours on YouTube, so let's see. So it might show, but yeah, you're on YouTube. All right. So I'm going to keep copying over my generated code. Okay, so then I'm going to put that in the NetWinC. Put that over here. Let's put it at the bottom so it stays away from my regular stuff. Okay, great. Now, instead of making this, I can do a client's array. There we go. And then down here, I think I can do net. So there's the alloc. I don't have an arena in here, and I'm not going to use an arena for this. Okay, so then I can take the client's array. So that means I do need to alloc it. So it would be all right. Bam. And I'm going to say client's capacity equals 10, client's length equals 0. And I got anything else I care about in there? No. And so then this here is the array. So I pass in the array. It's going to alloc it, and it's going to alloc it to this capacity amount, to the items, and bam, we're good. Okay. So when I want to add a new one, what I could do is I could just do int void, what are you doing? GNet, I'm just going to call it GNet, add client. And then, let me just see here. So we've got the client loop, and then we got the server loop. Yeah, server here. So you connect, and then I get some information. I want to store that information. Okay. I want to store a lot of information about the person, but I'm not going to be able to store the ENET peer. So what I could do, that's annoying, isn't it? This doesn't need to go out anywhere. It can stay within here. So if I define my struct in here instead of up here, then I don't need to have it down there. Do I need to pass it around? Am I going to use it anywhere? I'll probably use it as an input. So then my methods aren't going to have it, and that would be a problem. But if I import it up here, it messes everything up. It's so annoying. Like some of these like implementations, they're like, I'm going to go and define a bunch of things and make assumptions, and then you get all these things that you don't want, so you have to like narrow its scope very, very narrow to just this one file. So if I like use all of its structures, I'm kind of stuck. So let me think, what is the bare minimum I need in here? I would need an array of peers. I would need that. I could just define the struct up here. No. Okay. I'm gonna do something crazy. See if it works. Okay. So now this is here, and I want to add a ENET peer here. And I'll have it be a pointer. Okay, great. So now we have that. So I create these guys. I create those. I'm allocing the clients. We're going to do for int I equals 0, I less than client's capacity. Let's just make sure that every one of these has its stuff initialized. Okay, great. Okay, so now I've got clients, they're initialized, and we're good to go. Why is this saying W referencing null pointer clients? I thought I just... Yeah. Interesting, but this is what matters. There we go. Okay, that's the array. Dereferencing null pointer clients. I don't understand your error. Sometimes these errors are just like retarded. They're just like old. This is so annoying. Okay, so it says I'm redefining it somewhere. Where? Is it in here? No. It's this thing. Yeah, okay, fine. Oh. Yeah. Got it. That makes sense. Well, if it does, it does. I normally approach this differently anyways. Okay. The issue I'm having is that the ENET library, when I include its header, basically clashes a lot with Raylib. And then that causes me problems. So I was trying to get around that. Because I wanted to have this ENET peer, but I guess I'm just not going to be able to do that right now. What's going on here? Peer is not a member of... Yes. So we'll skip that for now. We don't need to do this anymore. Let's get back to compiling. It's undefined. Type def struct. What are we doing? You're right here. Okay. Okay, so it's in here. Unresolved external array arena. Okay, we don't need this right now. Okay. Oh, I didn't write one for regular. That's interesting. See right here. Aha. Let's just do up here. That's odd. That is... Am I not linked to that? That doesn't make any sense. Arenalib, game engine is not linked to it. That just makes no sense. It was working like 5 minutes ago. How did that even happen? Yeah, that has it, but this one doesn't. How did that even happen? Did I accidentally delete it? I think I did. Interesting. I thought I would have included the Arenalib. That's odd. Very odd. Okay. And we're good again. Great. All right, here we go. Okay, so now I'm imagining that part of those errors I was receiving before were actually because of this not being linked, and that I actually could have went the route that I was trying to go, which was this route. So let's compile. Nope. Or yes. Let's see. Standard int. And what's going on? Why are we getting errors now? Redefinition. So why are you getting that? And that's because of here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's annoying. That's the stuff that I'm really annoyed at about this thing. Is that it just overrides things. I remember being particular, and even in like other environment, or in C++ when I was doing this, it was a problem too. Okay, well, let's just move forward anyways. There are ways to get around it. So we've got our clients. And so what is a peer? Let's see how deep this goes. And it's got a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I could just maintain another list of things and have that be the route I go. For now, we could just do a void pointer. Solve all my problems with void pointers. Okay, so we'll do that for now. Got ourselves allocated here for what's that? Client's capacity. pointer. Okay. And then we do peer. Okay, great. So now I'm going to, every time someone connects, I'm going to add them. They're going to have an ID. It's going to store a pointer to a peer, and then I'll use that pointer to be the thing that sends packets, and we'll go from there. Ugh. Okay, so when you connect, I send a little packet. Packet just says packet. It's a useless packet. And what I would want to do here is check the client. I'm going to have to come up with some way to allow people to reconnect. So let me just put to do handle reconnect logic. Do that later. And so for now, we want to work on add client. So I made a method up here called add client. And that is going to be their client number. And that's what I should send back in a packet to the user. Okay. But gnet add client. I'm going to use a method for this. I'm just going to write it out. I don't need other people calling add client. That doesn't really make much sense anyways. Okay, so you connect. We're going to get the current item in the list, and then we're going to get we're going to store that. So that'd be is equals clients length done. Okay, and then what did I call this? Clients. This is what I'm looking for. So we'll do if clients dot length plus 1 is greater than capacity starting at 0, 0. So 0 plus 1. I've done this a million times. Why do I have to keep redoing it every time? Less than. Just copy this. Site. Interesting. Okay, great. Bingo. So client ID. I guess I'm not incrementing this. Hello. Hey, Dale. How are you doing? I'm just gonna make everybody client one. So stupid. Last heartbeat will be time. Time. Wow, it returns time. And you pass in time. Interesting. Let's just do that then. And last heartbeat is not a pointer. Done. Okay. So now we've got our last heartbeat being right now. Right now what I'm trying to do is show a list of all the connected players when they start, or whenever somebody connects, it shows just like client 1, client 2, and it just keeps going. So I'm trying to set that up. Should be easy. We'll see how hard I make it. Okay, at this point I can do client peer equals, and since I did a void pointer, I'm straight up goofing. This is to add the client. This is to see if we're allowed to add the client. So why not put you up here? And if you are null down here, then obviously we didn't get anywhere. So we're gonna not let you connect, and we'll tell you it failed. Can you run it to see what you have so far? Of course I can. First I gotta fix what I'm doing right now, otherwise we're gonna be stuck. Okay, so we're not gonna set client ID. We can set the heartbeat, and then we'll set the peer. Why did I do all this? Oh yeah, I was doing it this way because if you can't get there, okay, well, just set the peer and move on. All right, great. So this is a pointer, and this is a void pointer, and now we're in the abyss. And then if client equals null, then we will say there ain't much to show though, but failed to connect. Something is wrong with your client list. Oh no, there's too many players. What to do here? Fix this. So yeah, I'll show you in a second. Here, so this is that we are now, we'll do an else, and that's successful. Great. So now we're connected, and I want to send to that peer an actual packet that has useful data. Okay, so packet create reliable. We're sending it on the first channel. It's just going to be string data, which is okay. Is it? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to put 55 here, and I'm going to do size of int. And let's just cast this to an int. And that should send 55 back to the user, and then I'll make that their thing. Compile. Good. Okay, so the concept is pretty simple. It's going to be a 2D game. There are going to be anywhere from 1 to 4 teams. They're going to be fighting each other constantly. There's going to be two categories. Well, there's going to be multiple units, but there's going to be like the king unit, which is the special unit, which is powered up in his base, and then there's going to be the other units that are not as strong as the king in the base, but when king goes out of the base, he becomes much weaker and easier to kill. So he doesn't have much reason to leave home base. He's the builder. So he'll create the base, play kind of the game like an RTS, but he's also a very powerful defensive unit. As time goes on, the world folds out, right? So imagine you have like a sheet of paper and it's like folded like this. The world's going to unravel until it becomes full. So that's what this idea here is that this is the center, which is kind of like the no man's land, but then more of the world expands from that center. So if you're on the left side, you don't really move when it's expanding. But if you're on the right side, you move with it. So you don't really notice if you're on the right side. If you're far enough away from the center, you won't really notice. And so in this center land here is going to be where there are creeps, mobs, just random encounters. There'll be a road from one end to the other. Your team will send bad guys to fight their team back and forth, kind of like in a mall game. And you will either play the king or you'll play one of his units. And so you will have anywhere from 1 to 4 people on your team. And then they'll fight each other. Where can you download? Well, when the game has a demo, there will be a Steam link, and then of course when I do testing, there'll be times that are appropriate for that. But it's nowhere near the downloading phase. That's much later. And I'm probably going to use programmer graphics until I'm done. So server and client. So I'm going to keep moving along on the testing of the networking code. And by the way, this game's written to work, or the engine's written to work with multiple DLLs. Each one of these items in this drop down here, or this page here, is different games actually. And so that's a nice feature, but I also can hot swap the DLL, so I could change the code, right? So that's hard to show on stream, but if you bear with me, I will do it really quick. So let me just zoom in on team 2 base. I can recompile the code. So here I'm just changing something. I compile it, and it went from team 2 to team 3. To make that way more obvious, I could just change the color of that team to blue, compile, and the team color would change to blue. Let's see. Sometimes it doesn't work, and that's my fault, but let's see. Yeah, okay. Sometimes I get some errors with this, and it will tell me the errors. Yeah, so basically it got stuck. Sometimes it gets stuck because of the whole Windows file system fun. But keep on keeping on. But yeah, it'll be on Steam. And whenever I open up testing, on my Discord, I will definitely be looking for people to do testing. Which then they'll get like a tester's key and all that. I definitely do need testers because it's going to be a multiplayer game, and I'm going to need more than like myself to test it at some point. So if you're interested, just join the Discord, and when I'm further along, you'll be able to try it out. Okay, so I want to get that client ID of 55 to the server. To the player. And so let me just do that real quick. Sudo supreme says hi. Actually, that should be showing up on the right side, so you guys can read too. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we've got the client. The client's being set up here. He's going to be client 55. I have the peer here, so I think what I'll do is I'll try to send a packet to this peer every loop, and then I will send that to the engine, or to the VM portion of the system. Okay, so we're starting it here. Where am I doing my loop? Check network, start server. Am I doing it? I have to be doing some sort of update. Where is that? It's here. Okay, so go through here. I'm getting packets, but I'm not sending any. So what I'll do is I'll receive a bunch of packets, and then if I have any players, I'm going to try to send them a packet. So that would be something like, let's see, that would be something over here. Okay, so I'll just make a method in here to like send a string or something to a particular peer. Are you gonna have to deal with that thing? No, I can use this. This right here would be perfect. I'll just say client ID, and I'll use the client ID number to who I'm sending it to. Now, I'm jumping back and forth on all this. Let's see. Usually I'm good at thinking out loud, but right now I'm hitting some walls. I'm thinking about, because I'm like separating this stuff out, it does get to be a little confusing. I don't really need to know about this peer list. And I could always send a void pointer. And I always can send this thing. And I do have NetWin in the engine. So I actually could just make this simple. I'm going to... Yes. Okay, I know what I'm doing now. I have an idea. So I have defined clients in NetWin. And I think I have access to it back here in the engine. So let's just do clients dot, no I don't. I did this somewhere else, so let me just see. Yes. Okay, so then I actually can do it that way. Drop you up here. Great. Okay, and then I probably want to change this to GNet clients just to make it a little bit easier on myself. Okay, so now jumping up here. Length, yes. All right, good. I got my client, so now I'm going to have the peer. I'm going to be able to pass this back into some method over there and send packets. So I could say like send. I'm just gonna do. It's gonna be stupid, but I'll just do it. There's gonna be something really dumb, but okay. So void gnet send int to client, because I'm not really trying to do anything fancy here. So then I would pass in the client data here. And then we'll just do it. Okay. Okay. So then this is really easy, because then I could do ENET peer star peer equals client here. And then if I wanted to be annoying, no, I'm gonna not be annoying. If it's null, it's null. Okay, so let's try to send a packet like I'm doing down here. Packet create ENET packet star. Okay, so okay. What I'll send them is I'll send them the client ID that I set. Why is this net? Okay. So gnet send client, send into client, and then we'll do client dot client ID for now. Okay. So now the client should be receiving this packet. It's going to be pretty useless, but it proves out what I want. Packet of length blah 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 with blah. Here's the data we received from channel ID here. So this is it's going to treat it like a string, but that's the problem here. Is this a void pointer? So since that's not that, let's do void pointer pointing to the data. The data is going to be an int, so it's an int pointer. And then, okay. We're probably there. So you should be getting a packet every tick. 10 server, client, and we crashed. Okay. So I will run the client in debug mode. And the server will run not in debug mode. Okay, great. So we've got data access violation here. Null pointer, gnet clients. Is that because I'm accessing it before I've initialized it? Why would I be a client? The answer here is if it's not null, okay. That's why would the client be messing with that stuff? Put it in the wrong spot. All right, do that again. Server, client. Okay, the server crashed this time, but not the client. So we'll do this again. That'd be debug server, client, mem copy data length, packet create, host server, packet create, size of int. Why would I get a, oh, stupid. I think I've dealt with this before, but why did it work before? ENET malloc, yeah, so it's like gonna, what is it, too big? Data length 4. Didn't have to do anything special before. Great. Void pointer. So instead, I would do that. Okay, we crashed. This time we crashed on the client. We're just going to go back and forth until we figure out what's going on. Server, client, and now we have this. Peer data is 0. Received a packet. Oh. And the data is empty. It's empty. No data. Empty. Data length 4. Says 7. How is it that event packet? Oh. Oops. All right. I'm doing something bad. Because it like dinged a million times. Am I like telling it to beep? Is that me printing out a beep? Oh, stupid. That's weird. If anyone knows what's going on there, great. Maybe I'm getting like spammed. I ain't gonna check. Ugh. A packet of length U containing S was received on channel from D on... Oh, received from D. Oh, derp. Okay. So now I understand what's happening before. You can set the peer's name, and I didn't do that, and that's not required. But yeah, that's why it was peer data. But instead, I did val. There we go. Okay. Jump back into here and change this back to D and this back to S. Okay. And here we go. We got a nice little spam. It's working. We've got a packet. Oh, something crashed. No, not yet. There we go. Okay, so we've got a packet containing a negative number, length 4. I'm still not where I want to be. But the good news is I could put a breakpoint here and I could run the client and just see where we're at on this. You know, I think it would be worthwhile to check and see what I'm sending. If I'm sending any packets over here that don't make sense. So here we're sending 55 data length flags. Okay, so we're sending 55. Sending this packet here to this peer. That's that. That's this one. But what about the other one? I'm gonna copy. Oh, the other one has the same error, right? So in here, I'm doing sending another packet, and I'm doing the int val thing. Instead I'm sending some random number, and it's being treated as a pointer. It's totally wrong. So instead, we should be doing int. Doing pointer of val. Bingo. Are y'all with me? You get it? All right. There we go. Now we're getting 0. Zero. Great. I could be cheeky and instead do this. Must have a constant value. Are you kidding me? There we go. And then Okay, let's try that out. Still 0. Okay, I thought it was just like dereferencing itself. Okay, so if that's not the problem could be that we never really make it here. So let me do my... This is stupid, no. Okay, so what I need to know is if the peer is actually bogus. Because if the peer's null, then you know we have a problem. Okay, so we've got a client. Packet length of 4 containing 0 was received from null on channel 0. Okay, first off, let's fix the null thing. So in here it said you could do peer.data, peer data. Okay, well. Oh, you know what? I remember now. This person does these really weird thing. Okay, so this is the ENET host. Client information here. So I'm going to do that too. And we're going to call you client whatever. Connect. We've got ourselves a peer. Okay. And null. I'm going to go with my gut on this one. There's something wrong with this peer. Client is a pointer. We're getting it from our array. So let's just see if we make it here. So server on this side. Okay. So I received this packet the first time. And the data is 55. So that first hit here, first one, works. And all the future ones, wait, what? Oh, okay. So now this is where it's all going to be 0. You know, it didn't hit the code that I put a breakpoint on. Right here. It didn't hit this. So that's the problem. Okay. So what I need to do is figure out if there's something wrong here. Okay, we get in here. We're at 0, +1. Capacity 10. We're going in. We've got a peer. Peer has a whole bunch of crazy stuff in it. Weird. What's up with this event? Yeah, this thing's all messed up. But I send the message. Good. So we've got data. Interesting. That's a pointer. So interesting. Oh. Data's a pointer. Peer packet pointer is 0. Oh. Yeah. Because we didn't... Oh, man. How many times am I going to do this? Okay, so I need to set the client ID to something. And it was set to 0. I'm going to set it to something that changes until everything blows up. So I'm just going to do client ID ++. And then the proof will be if it's incrementing, then we've made, the progress I'm looking for. So let me get rid of these. What happened? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, and yes, we did it. The data is being sent perfectly fine. Okay. So my next step would be to... I'm getting so many emails right now. Click. Bye-bye. So probably what I would want to do next I'd want to send the players data, but I also want to be able to assign a unit, create a unit and assign a unit to the player when they join. But that's not what I want to do. I want them to join and then they don't have a unit. The server detects that they don't have a unit. The server sends them a packet, which then gives them a unit. So they start out with no unit and go from there. So what I would want to modify the way things currently work is that until you are connected, you should not have a unit. So what's happening right now is you click, you get here and you're going. I would want you to have to press, you would have to actually connect. Then the server gives you a unit. And the same goes for when you're not the server. So we got some more things to clean up. Yeah. So I will change this. Init first is no more of this player entity ID getting set to something. It's going to be set to -1, which means you don't have a player. Okay, so now if you don't have a player, we're not doing anything. And then here on the update loop, we're getting player, but not a fan of what I'm doing, but who cares? If I don't care, then so be it. Okay, that's good. We get in here. I think we've got no more pointers to player in here. Yeah, so this was definitely a shortcut. We don't need this anymore anyways. This is wrong. Okay, great. So now you can't do anything. We start the server, you still can't do anything. And back into it. So now basically want to just allow people to like join the server, get into a lobby, hang out, do some stuff, and then go from there. I'll need to add states. I'll need to change states. I'm also going to need to come up with my pattern for packets, which is probably going to be something like int and then the data. So we could switch. I'm going to need to start creating a way to queue events. I'll need to send the world data, so let's just get back here. So to do, set up a packet buffer. Nope, not yet. On every packet sent to the, no, we've only done one of these. Actually, our original thing was that whenever the client sends a packet to the server, we would update the heartbeat, but we're not doing that yet, but we can. It's actually really easy. Why don't I set that up? It won't be hard. And then that'll get that one done. We'll get one item finished. So when we do the host service of the server, this is what we do on connect, but every time we get that get another packet, we need to go look through our list here. So this is in the packet received down here. So then I would need to get the client again. And this is where the problems come up is I'd have to find the peer and then use that to find well, that's easy. That's actually really easy. So we've got our event peer here. So what I could do is I could just peer, and then there's probably some sort of unique identifier in here. Peer ID. So I don't know what this is, but you know what? We'll go off of that for now. Then we do a little bit of this. Okay, and then we do a little bit more. We do the okay, and then we do if. And this is probably not right, but no biggie. Okay, great. And now, as a client, I should be sending a packet to the server. So I'm going to have access to these guys by moving them up here. We jump back here. And instead of for whatever, we're going to do client. Nope. Nope. We're just going to send you that ENET server. Okay, great. Send into server. Send into server. Take that up here. Okay, so this is not going to work. For good reasons. Well, why do I need to send the client to this where there's only going to be one server in the setup we're using? So we'll just do ENET server. Oh. Huh. How do I get the peer for the client? Client to server. That one's the client to server. Peer client to server. So that would be great. Oh no. What have I done? Okay. Good to go. Server, client, it cried. One of them stopped working. No, I'm not getting spam. What's going on? Debug error. Variable current index is being used without initialization. Okay, how about retry? It's probably this method here. Where are we current index? Server. That's fine. Here, right here. Okay, great. This is good news. That means the packet has come in. So why am I using current index when I should be using I? All right, guys, look at that. All of my bugs have been my fault. Isn't that great? I don't have to work twice because I'm not using AI. If you use AI, you better stop. Big waste of time. Okay, look at that. I'm sending nine of clubs. Who would have thought I could have sent 9 of clubs? I'm getting better. Okay, so how are we getting 9 of clubs? Let's see. So we have connected. This is the server. And so the client is receiving something now. I'm receiving a packet. Why am I receiving packets on both ends? Let's try that out again. I just need to look at the messages. I need to make them more distinct as well because they're two. Like one needs to say server and the other one needs to say client because this is stupid. Like network loop, and then it's like a packet length or whatever. It should actually say client. We're doing a big no. This is client. There we go. You shouldn't really have anything something going on here, but so that's client, and then server. All right, so server has received a packet. So if that one has actually received its packet, and we are not showing it anything useful because we're trying to show it as a whatever, showing it as a string. This shouldn't work, by the way, what I'm about to do, but I just want to look at it. Yep, so it's showing me some pointer value. Great. So now we do what we did before. It's going to be the same code as the client receiving the value. You just set it. Packet data. Well, it worked. And to take it a step further, I did the time heartbeat here. So heartbeat is a simple at time, and I could go crazy and I could have it print the last time and the current time. So then I would need to this value here, which from what I understood was long, so we'll just call it prior heartbeat equals client last heartbeat, which is a time t. We get the value stored here. Get it now. D and D. That. So then I can see when the last time we sent a packet, and then that just shows that something's being stored. And so make this wider. Yep, so we've got ourselves somewhat of a timestamp. It's actually not the best because it does not include milliseconds, but you don't need milliseconds for this because it's a heartbeat. If this number were to get, oh, you know what, I just realized something. I'm almost done on part 2. So part 2 is when a client connects, I want it to show it here. So that would say client 1 or client 0. And then I should be able to have multiple clients connect, and then it show like a number and a number just keep going down. So I'm going to do that. The reason why I want the heartbeat is because you can use the heartbeat to figure out if a client has disconnected. So let's get these things done. I mean, like I got like 20 minutes left, right? And I said I wanted to show the client list. So I just need to show the client list. I'm so close to being done with my task. It's incredible. I had to do all these other side things to get there. Okay. So the most of the main unit of work here would be in here. And it would be this, where I'm drawing server. And since I am the server, I need to be able to draw my client list. Problem is I don't have that information. So do I need to write a entry point? No, I can use a VM call. That was what I was going to do. I was going to use a VM call from... Yes. That's what I should be doing. So I would use a VM call to tell the game that you have something going, like you have a new client, or add player connected. And then that player connected VM call would send the stuff that we care about, which could be like client 1, client 2. And then I could have a VM call client disconnected or client dropped. Yes, okay, we're doing that. All right, VM call, where are you? VM call. VM call is going to be in the DLL main. And it's going to, is it VM main? Yes, it is. And in here we've got our clients. We're going to do client connected, client disconnected, client dropped. Okay. So when the client connects, I want to know their ID. It's going to be simple. When they disconnect, ID. When they drop, ID. So it's same stuff. So then in here, where is... I have so much stuff I don't need open. Let's close it all. We want to keep those. We don't need that. That'll stay. We don't need that one. That one. Okay. So, boom. It's the game state pointer. Where is game state pointer? Game state pointer. That's in the engine, so we need to go to here. Game state pointer. Jump to that. What are we? Game state build. And is that in a header file? No, this is... Why is this in here? Okay, well, whatever. So now in here, I need to have the client list. It exists in both places. The engine and the module. I can almost say that's like kind of like not needed, but I would say it is. So I need to make a kind of a, I guess it would be the same as over here in the engine, or the net here. Client data, but we'll just call it game client or whatever. So what am I doing? Client ID. I don't need all this info. I just need client ID. So we'll make that up there. Call it game player client. Okay, great. We got game player client. I want just one int in here, client ID, nothing more. Keep it simple. Next, we'll generate the array code again. Done. that. Since we're not using header files on this for some silly reason, I don't know why. Probably because I was lazy and I don't want to do a bunch of cleanup on stream because that's not what I'm into right now. Okay, we got all that, and drop in our use methods, and there we go. So now I'm going to make it initialize at the start of the game. 10 slots, just like I did in the other spot. So it's easy to crash. Oh man. All right, so in it first, we got our arena. And here, okay, great. So this is, I just need to do something like this, but for the players. We don't have players yet because we didn't add it to this yet. So it's this array. Player clients. Okay, we only need 10. Build doesn't crash, great. Okay, now we want to implement our VM calls, and that's interesting. If I'm going to go this route, then I might need to update my is it game module? Yes, it is this one here. So I need to update this. Player connected int client ID. Okay, great. Okay, so the way I'm going to work on this is when a player connects, they get added to the list. When they disconnect, they get removed. They don't get removed from the list. If they connect and the client already exists in the list, they go to active. If they drop, they go to inactive. So we should change the state. And just to be kind of clear, we'll do okay, so how about be connected and then be dropped? Just the dropped can be kind of the idea that it wasn't intentional. Just give an extra info. Okay, so then we've got in here, we could do bam, player client dot client ID equals client ID if all right, we now know if the player exists. If the player exists, we do one thing. If not, we do something else. Okay, where are we now? We now want exist. We just want to well, if he exists, we don't want to break, we want to return. Because all we're going to do is flip them from disconnected to connected. So instead, get rid of all this. If he exists, we do this. Great. Now, if we're still here, we can go to the other part. Okay, so I want to do if so length is going to be the current one. So if length plus 1 equals capacity or greater than capacity, I'm going to reason through this real quick. So if length plus 1, if I have 10 slots and I'm at 8 or 9, what is it? I have length is 9. My capacity is 10. Capacity, then we have a problem. Came in and came out. Still have my mic and my camera. So everywhere else I'm doing like +1 less than capacity. So yes, if it's less than capacity, but then I wonder if I'm missing a point here, because what I'm doing is I'm taking the length, current length, as the index that I want to keep, and then I'm incrementing. So if I'm in the 9th position, and I feel like I'm gonna only have like 9 things if I do it this way, right? So if I'm at the 9th one, I +1, I'm gonna be at 10. Yeah, this is kind of stupid. Problem would be is if it should be less than or equal to. Because it would be full. If I was at length 10 and I added 1, I would then try to allocate to the 10th slot, which would be the problem. But if I was in the 9th slot, then I would be fine. It really is just this, as long as length is less than capacity, because capacity is going to be like 10 and length is going to be where do I put my next item. If length is 0, I'm putting it in the 0th spot. So I've got some bugs everywhere else in the system, and I'll have to, I got bug here, I got, there's bugs everywhere. But anyways, let's just move on. Okay, so then we're going to do index equals the length. Oh, length is how far I can iterate to. So that's why I add it. So then 1 would be, duh. I'll keep figuring this out. But anyways, this is going to go plus plus. Then we want to get the item itself from index. We got player client. And I want to say his client ID is equal to, we'll just make it index for now. And then player client be connected is true, player client be dropped equals false. Okay, great. Okay, so at this point, I would have enough things done to be able to know if a client's connected. So now I need to set up the virtual machine call in the DLL. And that would be this. KCL client connected with GC connected. What on earth? Game state pointer. What am we doing in here? This is VM main. We're receiving calls in DLL main. We should not be. Yeah, it's GM underscore. Okay, so GM underscore connected, and then we need the client ID, which will be just do that. Bam. Okay, I think we're connected all the way. Client connected. Client connected. No, we're not calling it, so we need to call it from the engine. And when a client connects, we want to do a VM call. So we want to queue. We want to sysqueue an event, I think, is what we were doing. Yes, because then that calls the VM calls. Sysqueue, get event. Where's my COM loop? COM, get sys event, SE mouse click. Is that what we're doing? Yes. Because network events are supposed to be queued. I want all my network events to be queued. So we would need to add a packet thing. Interesting. Cheap followers on banned. Ban this guy. He's banned. Ban Hammer. Let's report him. Spam. Next. Spam, scam, spam. It's a bot and he's spamming. Follower, spammer. And block. And then we want to ban. There we go. Bye. All right. Yeah, it is VM call. So it would be an event. And there's these are like generics. I would be making a packet one, but it's not a packet. So I'm just gonna like make my own real quick because it's not the end of the day. So we're gonna start player connected, disconnected. I mean, this is definitely not the way to go. Player dropped. I'll have to find a better way to do this, but for now I'm okay with it. Okay, so we have our COM event loop. Case VM call. Client connected. There. And break. Okay, now I have to queue the event. So let's just see here. We've got, here's a good example, I guess. Then we want to go in, oh, stupid. This is defined up here. So do I need to make a callback? Oh man, I am making this like really complicated for myself. That's okay. Won't give up. But it is getting late. Will I make it? I think I will. What I could do is in here. Start client. We're adding a client here to our clients list. I guess I could. I know what I can do. The engine has methods that I can let the network code call. And I could have sys event QB in there. And that means I have to put sys event type in there, which is fine. And the enum. But I don't need all, yeah, I don't need all this stuff. So I actually could do this. Yeah, so let's make that header real quick. Okay. Source files, let's go. Okay, we're gonna make a header. We're gonna call this the game engine. The GARE engine. Get out of here. Call it the GARE. I'll call it the GG engine.h. Bam. Okay, great. GG engine.h. We're going to add GG engine.h to our header list here for the engine. gg.h. Bam. GG engine. Great, we got it. Okay, run this. Okay. Did you complain? So now, jump up here, and we do .h. Jump into here, not found in the directory. That's because I need to close and reopen the Visual Studio after doing this. Okay, and here we are, empty file, Grace. Great, pragma once. GG engine. We take all of this sysq stuff, which was supposed to not be in here to begin with, but oh no, you're not here? Event Q. There we go. This stuff here should be in here. Bam. Great. Now with this stuff here, is this type T undefined? No, you're defined. Thank you. Now with this here, I can go into the net code and do include GG engine, and bam, now I have access to Q event, so then I can actually do. Sometimes I wonder, you know, why are you doing this? Stop torturing me. I'm gonna run this just to make sure it understands. So we have an unexternal VM call in externals. So did I copy over VM call in here as well? I don't see VM call in here. What are we complaining about? COM event loop. COM event loop. VM call. You're right here. You're here. Am I missing something? It's the worst when you do like almost nothing and then it falls apart. You're like, what? What did I do? Okay, let's just look through all this. I move this and this to the header. So it keeps acting like I don't have the header, but I do have the header. It's right here. Is it GG engine H? GG engine H, yes it is. It should be fine. GG engine H, GG engine H. Is there a problem with this? Maybe put that there, and maybe put that there. What is this? $305. There's probably a typo. Yeah. There you go. And it works fine. Okay. So that was just a scare on my end of doing something wrong. I did it wrong. It could have been a lot simpler if I just didn't do it wrong. Okay, so we want to do key depressed. So we've got type 1, 2. Okay, these are all easy. So take that, jump into the network here, and we have the server here, and it says, no, that's not it. This one. So we get somebody who connects. We should then queue an event for the server to send a message that we've had somebody connect. Player connected. You know, I'm gonna change these to client connected because they seem really wrong. To have it two different names. Okay, and then for the client ID, we'll just send this. Val, bam. Okay. Then if we jump back into the module, player connected, and I set the client ID to some random thing, but it actually should be this. We're good to go. I think I've connected all the way between the two, so it would be worthwhile to test now and see if we make it here. And the way I'm going to test it, so we have this guy connected. I have a player clients list. So I'm going to use that in the render method. And where I have, if you're a server, I'm just going to do some iterating. Oops, come on. Get. And then we'll do bam. You get the player clients. We're now going to maintain a Y factor of, let's do 50. And then we'll do Y factor plus equal 50. And then we will do this. There we go. All right, if that worked, we will be able to see the client name not the client name, but the ID. So 10, 10, boom. And I'm going to have another client join. And did he get there? Did he make it? No. You want to know why he didn't make it? I bet you he's the same client. It treats him as the same client. The way I would find that out is easy. It would be this one right here. So I'll put a breakpoint here. I will load up the server. Test build. Click, click, click. There we go. Server's up. Then I run the client connect. And we've got our first one. I'll run another client over here. Drag him out of the way. And then I'll have him connect. And bam. So they have the same client ID because the peer ID is the same incoming ID. However, this means that if I would have connected with a different computer, it would have given me a different number, and that's all that matters here. So we're going to call it a night. Thank you for watching. I have a Discord which you can join if you want to chat more. Link here. And if you liked what you saw, just feel free to follow. You can check me out on Twitch or YouTube. And y'all have a good night, because I'm going to have a good night. And see you later. Oh, yeah. I got something done. All right. Y'all have a good one, and good night.